StitchyTube, settle down and watch StitchyTube for the 67th time. Lucky number 67 this episode is. It's good to be back. Glad to see you. And I hope you're having a stitchy weekend. Today is Sunday, April 23rd. And where does the time go? I will say April in Mississippi is beautiful. So if you want to get like a summer place or just like a, seasonal place in Mississippi, come in April, come again in October, and that'll be plenty. It really is nice this time of year. The weather's been sunny skies and, nice room temperature weather, a little bit of a spring breeze coming through. The birds have a lot to say at 4:30 in the morning, unfortunately. So I've had a few times this last week where I've, blearily woken up in my bed and it's like, oh, the birds, they're so loud. They need to just be quiet, but they don't want to be quiet. So last time I had a giveaway and I forgot to say what it was for. I pretty much do a $25 gift card these days to my shop. So that's the prize again this time. But last time's giveaway, hope my voice is going to hang in there. It would help if I opened it. Last time's winner, and the question was, what was your favorite thing from Market? So the winner is R_C069. And I'm not sure if that's a person or a droid from Star Wars. RCO69. Seems like it could be. But anyway, this person said that their favorite thing from Market was United We Stand, which is what I said also. So I don't know if you're just copying me, but I think it really is the item that I sold the most of from Market. I'll show it again. I think I showed it last time. It is this book here. You get three little projects. So the two on the cover and then this one on the back. And it's really a nice book. Alma does such a great job. And I think some of these were exclusive patterns for other like retreats and exclusive things. And so some people did actually, have these patterns from that. But it's just really a very pretty book. And I would love to do this kind of mattress finish pincushion. It's really, really cool. It'd be a fun technique to try. So congratulations, RCO69. Say hello to R2D2 and C3PO for me, but email me at the address below and I'll give you instructions on how to use your $25 gift card. Next time the prize is, let's say, a $25 gift card. And the question is, what are you working on right now? I finished something recently and I'll show that shortly. But the thing that I think I'm going to start working on today, if I get done and it's still pretty light outside, is a new sampler reproduction. And this is a sampler that I bought last year at Market, which is good because you're going to get to see some footage from Market last year, this video. But I bought this sampler at the show, trying to keep the glare out. There, that's pretty good. I bought this. Dawn Lewis always comes and brings a whole bunch of antique samplers. I think this is the first time I've actually bought one. And let me tell you what I like about this besides everything. The border is some kind of wonderful. It's very unusual. To me, this sampler has a very like Lori Markovic la-di-da kind of a feel to it. And there's not a lot of colors. It should be fairly easy to reproduce, but we're going to see how she did on her counting on the border. I find that with borders like this, it can be tricky to make sure it matches all the way around, just like when we're stitching. And so if she did pretty well, it should be easy. It looks like her corners are all a little, not too bad, I guess. We'll see. But the border definitely can be the most challenging part of a sampler to reproduce. So that's what I'm going to be working on. As far as stitching, I don't know. Right, Briar? Briar always wants to come and say hello. She's got a little cold, so she's going to go to the vet tomorrow. You going to go to the vet tomorrow? She hates the vet. But she has kind of a recurring, we've been dealing with it for over a year, I think. She gets better, she gets another one. So I think she's just got, I think there's a condition like where it's just basically recurrent sinus, upper respiratory infection kind of thing. Poor thing. She's very, very sweet. Okay, so the next time I want to hear like what you're working on. That's what I'm working on. And the other thing that I worked on and finished, today is Sunday, so I finished it a week ago today and released it. I have 2 new patterns of mine in my shop. And the first is called A Stitch in Time Saves 9, Once Around the Floss Box. And I'll show you the original first. We'll see if we can do this maybe, so it's not so see-through. It's stitched on kind of a canvas. It's similar to like an Ada. And I don't remember when I got it. I loved the little rooster with kicking his leg. And I also loved that it said A Stitch in Time Saves 9. I'm sure it was on old samplers. I don't know that I remember ever seeing a sampler that said that on it. And when, I know, you're so sneezy. I know that when I was little, I would hear that phrase, A Stitch in Time Saves 9. And I was like, saves 9 what? What does it save 9 of? A Stitch in Time saves 9 and it took me a ridiculously long time to figure out that it meant A Stitch in Time saves 9 stitches, i.e., if you take care of a problem when it's small, you won't have a bigger problem to solve later. It's kind of like an early, inspiring phrase against procrastination. I think people probably have been procrastinating since the Stone Ages. I mean, how long did it take us to learn how to make a wheel? It just seems like that project should have been bumped forward a couple millennia. But anyway, A Stitch in Time saves 9. And so this is what the chart looks like. Again, we're dealing with glare. I think it's very, very cute. Maybe what I'll do is I'm going to put a picture right here so you can see the photograph that I took. I had a really fun time doing this photo shoot. And ever since I added my new amazing printer, I've been able to do much better like production value on my charts and things. And so this picture is in a little hutch that I bought in Amana. And it was, I think, just like a medicine cabinet that had been painted over a couple of times and has lots of good patina on it. And so I just kind of gathered together things that looked kind of retro, like 40s and 50s, kind of bright, sunshiny colors. You'll notice at the top of the chart, there's like some little girls all holding their needlework projects. That's a photograph I bought either on eBay or Etsy. And there's a little pincushion too there of the little girl with the fancy hat. I bought that in Salt Lake City at a little needlework shop, I believe. And then there's a sewing card on there too. Then I bought a pack of those on eBay, and it had never been used. So I got to, for the first time, sew that card with the green thread. And it was kind of fun. I used to do sewing cards. I wonder if you can get them anymore. I bet you can. So anyway, this turned out super, super cute. Where is it? Oh, okay. It's very small. So you saw how big the original sampler was. I have kind of been into stitching over 1 on 28 count lately. I've been off and on working on Brenda Gervais' summer schoolhouse series. That's 5 pincushions that take you through the alphabet. And then I think there's a little strawberry and like a little horn book kind of thing too. And it's fun. I don't know. I got into stitching over 1 for a while. Then I was like, I hate stitching over 1. And now I like it again, especially on the 28 count Lugana. It's not hard to see, and everything looks so cute when it's tiny like that. So I decided to stitch this one tiny because I thought, since it talked about stitching, that maybe it would be a cute little pincushion. And so here's the finished pincushion. And I think it turned out really, really cute. I stuffed it with sawdust, and I have this fabric still in stock that says stitched. It also comes in red and then white on taupe. But it's a really cute fabric. I don't think you can get it from Moda anymore, but I have a few bolts here, I think. And I put some old pins in it, and it just is really just as cute as can be. You can see it's just not very big. One of the things that made me laugh about reproducing the sampler, and the reason I call it Once Around the Floss Box is there are 30 colors in this sampler. And little girls, I imagine she probably was using just scraps from her mom's sewing case or her grandma's sewing case. Sometimes she used a color for only 1 letter, and that was it. So I would get sometimes through part of the alphabet, and I'd be like, seriously, another color? So because of that, I charted it for DMC and then 1 sampler thread colored Deep Forest, which is the lines between the alphabets and things, and then the border that goes all the way around. I just thought a little project like this doesn't need to be super expensive to stitch. So it's just, like I said, mostly DMC, because sometimes you're only using like this much. And I know, little Miss Sneezy Pants. I'm going to take care of her. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just gave her a little nose wipe. I don't remember what I was saying about this. I like it. It's neat. It's kind of a fun, just quick, like 2-weekend kind of project. And I stuffed it with sawdust. And so it has weight to it, which is really nice. So, oh, and it's stitched on 28 count earth by Fiber on a Whim, which is a Lugana fabric. Lugana works nice when you're doing over one because you don't have like the thin and thick threads of linen fabric. And so using an even weave allows you to have really just nice even stitches. So there's that. That's release number 1. That's what I was working on. And then I released another sampler this just a couple of days ago. And this is kind of a wowzer. So here is the original. It's big. If you look at it like this, it's almost like watching Star Wars. Right? So this is a French sampler, and it was made in Buxy, France, which is still a little community there today. Only a couple of thousand people live there. My friend Isabel from Reflet de Soie in France, I sent her a picture just because I thought she'd be interested to see it. And she actually found our little stitcher, even though she signed her name simply as F. Delhomme here at the bottom in the cartouche with the, it's not really a cartouche, but it's a little swag. She did put it's a boarding school at Saint Sacrament, and in 1873. But Françoise was her name, and her mom's name was the same, and then her father's name was Charles, and they were wine growers. And Buxy is an area known for growing wines. But this is quite a sampler. She must have been going to a something school. I was really attracted to this sampler because of the train. I thought it was really great. It took France a long time to adopt trains, partially because of land prices and other political reasons. But the little scenes at the bottom too are kind of charming. They're Aesop's fables, and they're kind of sad Aesop's fables. At first I was like, oh, let me see, like, what are those about? So this one is the wolf and the sheep. And basically the wolf tells the lamb, I'm going to eat you. And then the lamb and the wolf have an argument about why that should not be so. And the wolf eats the lamb anyway. And then the other one is the fox tricks the crow into dropping his cheese by flattering him and by kind of false flattery. And so both of these little scenes at the bottom are kind of grim stories about like why you need to be careful of predators who want to take things from you or to hurt you in some way. But they sure do look sweet on the sampler, don't they? The border is something else. It's not for the faint of heart for sure. The stitch count on that sampler is like roughly 420 by 420. And that's a big sampler. That is a very big sampler. So here is the model. And I think it turned out really nice. It looks like the original. I didn't even take that sampler off of the board that it's on, but I wanted to give it kind of that faded look. The main alphabets, like most of the alphabets you see, are in Terracotta by Gloriana. And believe it or not, it was actually really hard to match that pink because it's kind of a brownish, pinkish, salmonish, blushy, and everything was either like too pink, too red, too yellow, and so that was the closest I could find was that color. And I think it looks really good. There is brighter pink down at the bottom, just like on Françoise's sampler. And Chris Canaday expertly stitched this one, and she just did a fantastic job as always. You can see I went back to my very tight framing, which was typical of the time. I think you can probably see it. If you see it on this is how it would have been framed. You see how it's so tight on the sides? That's how I like them to be framed, is really, really tight. I love the, I'll put one here. I love the way the cover turned out. I collect now antique photos of sometimes just women or girls or whatever, and then sometimes, women or girls stitching or sewing in some way. On the cover, there's a cutout of a woman, and I actually had, like one of those photo cards that's like a real heavy card, and it was kind of a brownish gray dark color with an oval cutout, and then the photograph was in the middle. And I've been, using interesting new tools on my new computer, and so I went to crop out around the frame, the mat that it was on, just hoping I could get the whole mat, but then with kind of the edges looking kind of worn. And so I used the special tool that you can use in Preview to trace around this irregular shape. And then it popped up, would you like me to take out the background? And I was like, yes, I would actually. That would be great. So I clicked yes, and it cropped right down to the woman. And it did a pretty good job, as you can see. And that was really exciting. Behind the cover, behind the picture on the cover and that woman on the cover, you will see a little pink, it's a journal page of crochet instructions, and it was done, must have been at a school or something like that. And the journal itself is really neat. Actually, let me see if I can grab it. Hang on just a second. Okay, so here is the picture of the lady. And I think that's really, really neat as it is. And like I said, I wanted to just kind of crop around the oval, but it trimmed her down. My husband said her arms are missing, and I said, no, she's got her hands behind her back. Or in her pockets, maybe? No, they're tucked behind her back, it looks like. Anyway, I bought this on, I want to say Etsy. And it was this little French notebook with Joan of Arc on the cover. And it's very fragile, so I'm going to be pretty careful showing you this. But it's crochet instructions, and then the young woman who did it, actually, that's an actual crochet sample of some edging to show like what each pattern will look like. And just her careful penmanship all the way through is just super neat. And I'm always on the lookout for kind of neat old things like this to use now in my photography and in my books. There was even an article that I used inside the chart. There's like a fancy little clip art kind of thing in there too. But anyway, I got that. It's a one-of-a-kind item. It is a one-of-a-kind. So those are my two new designs. My friend Kathy just texted me yesterday and said she finished another one that she's been working on for me. And I've got Jenny Fleming working on a little sampler too, and I'll show you the original for this one. So this is a great little, it's kind of a perfect little sampler. It like has what you need. And I like, as far as a marking sampler, that it's got the little bit extra of like the animals and the basket at the bottom. Everything is over 2. There are 0 specialty stitches. So it will be suitable for Aida or linen or even weave or whatever you want to do. But we're getting our kitchen remodeled right now. So right now I have no sink, no dishwasher, no oven, and no stovetop. I have a fridge and a microwave that is sitting on the floor. So while they were tearing things out and putting things up, I actually reproduced the sampler. Just kind of tried to stay in my office. The cats were all locked in my bedroom. They weren't super happy about it, but we got through the day. So that one will come out soon. Just thought I would share that. Okay. Next section. What am I all into? I'm always on the lookout for kind of cool little books. I have a nice collection of like kind of craft books, needlework books, quilting books. And this was one I found on Amazon, and you can buy this on Amazon. I think it's out of print, but you can buy it used, which is how I bought this one. And I think I only paid a couple dollars for it. I would highly recommend it if you like this kind of thing. It is by Carrie Meng from the French general who designs fabrics for Moda. And it's in conjunction with the Tinsel Trading Company. And it's a super interesting story about a man during wartime who started collecting old beads, buttons, trims, tassels, just all kinds of things during the war when things were kind of being rationed, so Americans couldn't really get their hands on, these kind of things, trim and buttons and that. So the father died The daughter took the business over, and you can actually go to their website. I will put a link below. They also have links on their website to their Etsy shop and their eBay shop, and you can buy all of these really old vintage. It's fun even just to look, but I've never heard of this before. And it's a fascinating story about how this man, collected, a warehouse full of unopened boxes of just candy. It's just like Stitcher's candy. And so the entire book is kind of about the story. And then Carrie talks about like her process of creating like kind of concept boards, like in different color ranges. But she talks about the different kinds of trim and what to look for when you're collecting. And then these are like the inspiration boards that she puts together. And it's not a ton of reading. You can actually just sit down and read the entire book, but the pictures are just great. So I would really recommend checking this book out, or at least checking out the Tinsel Trading Company website online. I just found out that there was a website like this morning, and I'm going to go back later and see if there's anything I got to have. Oh, I was going to show you. I did that little over one project of mine, and when I was getting ready, I pulled this off the wall. A friend made this for me back in the 90s. Her name was Jennifer, and she and I have since lost touch with each other, sadly. She was a very good friend, and we used to stitch things for each other, and she stitched this for me, I think one Christmas or one birthday. And the name of the chart is Lilies by the Work Basket. And it looks to me, I looked this morning, and it looks like you can still find this chart online, like on Etsy and eBay, things like that. I think it's considered kind of out of print, but I don't think it would be super hard to find it. But she stitched it over one on, it looks like 32 count flax or something like that. But it's really a pretty, pretty little piece. It looks much better in person than it's showing up here on the screen. But so trust me, it's very cute. And I just thought I would show that just to show you like how cool over one is. Okay. So I'm all into treasured notions. I'm also all into Fat Boy Pizza. My husband and I are struggling with this remodel. We can't cook. I can't bake. I can't cook. I can microwave things. And it's tricky to get through the day without a kitchen. It really makes you appreciate like having a functioning kitchen. I'm doing dishes in a cooler. I brought a cooler in from the garage and scrubbed it all out, and I just put hot water in and suds, and I scrub up the dishes that we do. And anyway, so a couple of times a week we're just going to get a bite somewhere, because the other day I was like, I need chicken and I need vegetables. And so we went and ate, and I was like, okay, I feel better. We're going to go to this little Greek place on the other end of town, and where a Mexican restaurant used to be, a fairly big one, is now, it just said Fat Boys Pizza. And I think it started in Louisiana, and it's amazing. We went again yesterday. We liked it so much. They make these huge pretzels. I'll put a picture here. They have the most gigantic bubblegum machine I've ever seen. It's like 7 feet tall, and I would guess it has probably 10 or 20,000 gumballs in it. There's a little game room, and the pizza's really good. The pretzel that we had was very good, and the staff is like really friendly. It's a really chill kind of environment. It's right across the street from our football stadium, and I think it's new, and I'm sure once football season hits, it's going to be chaos over there. They have all these daiquiri machines that are spinning, and I was like, oh man, these guys are doing it. It's something interesting. We live in a smallish town. Hattiesburg is like 40,000 people, so there isn't always a ton to do or a ton of places to go eat, but that place seems really fun. The music is good, so we're all into that. I got a hole puncher. It's kind of a long story, but essentially I tried to have some greeting cards made, and the company that I work with misprinted them 4 times, and then eventually we just gave up on it. And I figured out something I'm going to do with the misprints, because they didn't want them back, but they're very nice, but they can't really be used for cards. So I have something I'm going to do with them, and it's eventually going to be a giveaway with my with orders. And so I got a punching machine. It is called the File Pecker 1XLS, and I think I got it at mybinding.com. I'll put a link below. But essentially it allows you to punch through by pulling a handle down. There's a table that you can adjust the stops so you can make punches, or you can just punch one hole. And you're using, there's just a big handle. It's a very sturdy machine, but you can punch through up to 300 sheets of paper cleanly. And my husband and I had a fun time a couple nights ago setting it up and playing with it and everything. And it's going to work great. And he said, I can take care of all the punching. So he really liked working with it. And so the other thing that I'm finding that it does is I give these little cards. Every time somebody buys fabric, I put a label on it that says what the color is and what the count. And I've been punching those one by one. I can go through a stack of like 100 of them in 1 second, and it's going to save my hand a lot of wear and tear. So I'm really into that. I'm super into Teresa Kogut's new fabric line called Bright Stars. I ordered it last year, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this fabric to come in. So I just picked, there's like 25 different fabrics. I picked out 3 of kind of the best sellers, are the ones I like. This one I think is, this one is so cute. And I don't have too much of this left, but I have more on order. So I will be able to get more at this point, which is nice. Because how cute is that? For like project bags. And the colors are really great. They're like, good reds, good blues, kind of beigey creams. This is another one that I like. I need to make a couple of project bags. I've been wanting to make project bags for like 2 months now, and I got my new Juki set up, so I think I'm all set. And then this is like one of the striped ones. This also comes in red and beige, and I think it might come beige on beige. I can't remember. Anyway, they're super great. Check them out on my website. If you go to the Teresa Kogut section under designers, I'll put a link. You'll find all of those new fabrics. They're great. I also have a bunch of her older fabrics still in stock. But as those sell out, I can't get more of most of them. So as they sell out, I'm just deleting them. So if you want to see her past lines, make sure to check those out too. Okay, I'm all into out with the old. When you remodel a kitchen. Okay, so here's what happened. I have jury duty this month, which means every Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night, I have to call after 6 p.m. to find out if I'm needed the next morning, which isn't super convenient. I haven't had to go yet, but I have had to make the call. And they said at the beginning, you can have to serve on 2 juries sometimes. But we're already at the 23rd. I got like 1 week left. I don't mind serving on jury duty. It's kind of just the not knowing until night if you're going to have to get up in the morning and go downtown. It's the federal courthouse or whatever. So they were supposed to come install our cabinets. My husband was out of town. I was trying to figure out if I was even going to be. So I did not have jury duty, but I couldn't find that out until 6. And then they were going to come the next morning at 8 or 9. So I had to, by myself, because my husband was gone, disassemble our entire kitchen. I had to put everything into boxes and like laundry baskets and bags. And some stuff I was pitching. Some stuff I like put in boxes to donate. And then now that our cabinets are in, our countertops are not in yet, but now that the cabinets are in, I'm really making sure to put things, in good places and really take a look at some of the stuff that we have, because we've been married for this will be 33 years in December. So you kind of have stuff that you have a long time and you're a little sentimental about it, but it's kind of looking tough. And you have newer things that you don't use because you keep using the old ones because you don't want to like ruin the new ones. So some of that old stuff is going, and it's very nice to kind of shuck some of these older items. I donate them to the animal shelter's thrift store, so all the money from the sale of those items will help the animals at the thrift store. So that's the good thing. But it is kind of fun to clean house and just like, Marie Kondo your way through the kitchen. Maybe I'll stay inspired, and I'd like to do The Office this summer, just really clean out. The last thing that I'm all into is my husband, when he was gone, went to, was that this trip? No, he went to Denver. He went out to Seattle earlier this year, not that long ago. And he stopped by the Funko Pop store. I collect Funko Pops a little. I have some, and I have them on a shelf. But he went to the Funko Pop store, and he had a Funko Pop made of me. So you'll have to see if you think that this looks like me. Let's see if we can. It's got my name on it. There I am. I got my glasses, my hair, my cats. I'm carrying a cupcake and a bag. And I think it's really cute. So he got a nice protective plastic container thing, and so the box will stay nice. But it's kind of fun. I have it on my shelf. That's what I'm all into this week. Okay. It seems like, so I was going to mention, when I was showing you the picture of the Françoise Delhomme, it's called the F. Delhomme 1873, a French alphabet sampler is the actual name of it. When I was putting stuff together this morning, I wrote the word Delhomme down in my notebook, and I was reminded of kind of a funny story. Maybe I've told it before. I don't know. You know, you get old. You tell the same stories. So when I worked at Barnes & Noble on campus, I worked with this nice older lady who had been working at the bookstore for like 50 years. Very nice lady. I had lunch with her many a time. And she and I enjoyed each other. You know, we just did. And one time, you know, we would get things in like t-shirts, you know, and notebooks. And we had a Barnes & Noble like book section. And we would get in like accessories and gift items and things like that. And one time, these socks came in. I don't remember the brand, but I loved them. Like, who doesn't want a sunny side up egg sock? I kind of like funny socks. So they came in, and I went over to Maggie and I go, "Did you see these? These are so cool." And so she looks at them and she goes, "But they're men's socks." And I said, "Oh, they are?" And I hadn't noticed. She goes, "Yeah, it says for the homies." It said, which is French for men. And I love that she read homme as homies. So like every time I see the word HOMMES, meaning men in French, I always think of Maggie and the homies. Okay. I'm gonna slip into the Nashville 2022 section. So my business stays pretty busy, and market is kind of crazy. And last year when I came home from market, I had 1,100 orders in the queue by the time I got home. And every year, you know, for the past few years, I had done interviews in the booths, and I didn't end up doing any this year. But I did some last year, and I never posted them because my March and April last year were crazy. Then the Blackbird Designs fabrics came in from Moda in May, and I worked on those for the next 8 weeks. And really by the time I got to thinking about those interviews again, I was like, I feel like I kind of missed the window. But then I was like, a bunch of these people didn't come to the show this year, which made me feel sad. And I was like, you know, I still have those interviews on my phone. I should just put them in a video. So I'm going to present them here. The cool thing is, I'll put a link below. You can still see the Market 2022 things on my site. I've kept that category up, and I'll keep it up for a little while yet. But you can find a lot of the products there in that section. So it's one of my favorite things about going to market is just talking to everybody, and you'll see why when you see these interviews. So enjoy. Okay, guys, it's day 2, so it's Sunday the 6th, and I didn't take any video yesterday. It was so busy, and the booth looks really great. We've reorganized it a couple of times as we've run out of things. It's been a great show so far, and the show just opened here on Sunday morning. I'm expecting today to be quite a bit slower. And so I'll have time to go shoot video with friends and pick up my last few orders. This is the table of my new things, and it's been rearranged a few times. I always like to kind of freshen the space to make sure that people really got to see everything. This was kind of a cool display idea. I got this old drawer in Amana, and I used 3M command strips to stick that one inside the drawer to make it kind of like a shadow box. I should have got something to put down in the bottom there, maybe next time. The Jane Summer sampler, I think, has been my biggest seller. I'm not really sure. That and the Cats and Crowns. But everybody's been really drawn to this really pretty reproduction sampler. The charts, I don't have any, there are the charts. The charts turned out really nice. And I think it is really, her last name is Summer, and I think it has really a summery feel to it. This is the companion piece, which is kind of the bottom section of that sampler, just reworked and recolored a little bit and stitched on a darker fabric, which I think is really nice. It's X-Jude, I think dark mocha brown or dark mocha beige, something like that. The Cathcart Cahoon has done well too. The model is so pretty. Kathy, my good friend who's helping me run the booth, stitched it, and she did a great job. It's got a really pretty, I'll try to stay out of the light here, 4-sided stitch alphabet. You can see it there, like the PQRST. See, and then the eyelet alphabet below, of course, is really pretty. But it's got some really nice elements, including that beautiful vase in the middle, and the flowers kind of poking up from the sides. And those were the two for Julia here, and that chart turned out really nice too. There's how that chart looks, full color. And there's the Cathcart Cahoon full color chart too. Fanny came out closer to Christmas, and we've been selling a lot of that one too. It's really such a sweet sampler. And you know, not too hard to stitch, and there's no over one, it's all just cross stitch, there's no verse, and so it's pretty easy. We've also been blazing through the antique charts that I design once in a while. They're always stitched on picture this plus 36 count with silk. The newest one is Cats and Crowns, which I stitched on gingerbread with Jacaranda Gloriana thread. The nice thing about these charts is they're definitely ones that you can stitch on a weekend with just a little piece of fabric that you might have and some thread that you might have. Okay, these samplers came out before a couple of years ago. That's Ragamuffin number 3 and Anne Grant, which is kind of an old favorite. It's always sold really well. It's got such a beautiful bottom section, and the border, isn't the border so pretty with the pink flowers and the really angular leaves? And then you've got the little scene with the house and the tree, and that one just is really pretty too. I love these dividing bands. It continues to be one of my favorite pieces that I've ever done. So over here we've got the 2 Skinny Dogs piece, which came out since the last market. That one's so nice because there's no verse again, no alphabets, no over one. It's all cross stitch, and it's got that just really interesting chocolate brown house with the 2 sassy little dogs sticking their tongues out at the bottom. And I think these trees are just lovely, these kind of wispy Charlie Brown trees. So that's that one. O came out at around, I think, November maybe, and I designed that for the Amana Retreat, not last fall, but the fall before. And so that one has been selling well also. This table was full of Graham's fabrics the first day, and of course they sold out very, very quickly. Over here we got the other table needle minders. I brought some Moda fabrics. Here are the old favorite Jenny Bean Friendship, Jenny Bean Halloween, and Jenny Bean Christmas pieces. I have old crates and things that I bought. You know, I just buy things as I see them. I think I paid $4 for that one, and it always makes a great display piece. And then over here we've got the Red Letter Day book, and this is the first time that all of these have kind of been hung together, and it's really neat to kind of see them all in one place. The book is very, very popular, and I've sold thousands, and I get a lot of nice compliments about the book. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And there you go, there's that. And then the last one here is the Maria Finney sampler that I designed for Jean Horton for a club a couple of years back, and that one's really pretty too. It's just real soft. I want to get in the light. You can see those pretty blues, and it's just kind of white and creamy, and then that kind of mocha brown. I think the colors are really pleasing. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't like Adam and Eve samplers. I think this Adam and Eve is really cute. And their little tree is very sweet, like I said, with the blue fruits and the white fruits and the little speckled birds here at the top. And the little, like, how cute is that basket? And so that one's just that. I really do like that one too. That's been on loan for a while, and it's nice to see it in person again. That's about it for my booth. Kathy is out picking up a few of my orders, and I'm gonna log off so I can get back to work. But thanks for stopping by. All right, we are here with Alma from Blackbird Designs, and it's always good to see you. 2 years is too long to go without seeing all of our friends.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, and so how was your show?
It was really fun. It was so nice to get to see people finally after all these years where you've been kind of locked up at home. So, you know, it's like a bunch of friends are together again. It was lovely.
And so I heard the word is that you ran out.
Well, yes. It was like dividing the loaves or the fishes or something.
Right.
You know? When it first started, after about 30 minutes, I realized I was in trouble. But everybody was so gracious, and yeah, they'll be getting their books pretty soon.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Now, one question I'm asking everybody is, do you have like something that, and I guess for you it could be applique or quilting. Do you have like a design or a pattern that like back in your history where you're like, you know which one I really like that I did was that one? And maybe it's something that people missed or like have forgotten about, or
Okay, well, I have a new favorite thing that I'm really into.
Okay.
But I think my old favorite thing was Anniversaries of the Heart. That was our series
Yes.
that we had done. And what I really loved about that was that each design, we put our family members' names and
Yes.
initials. And it's just like you thought about that person as you were stitching
That's
that
right.
project.
Yep.
And I loved seeing what everyone had done with that. A lot of people made changes.
Yep.
They added family, their own family. And
Yep.
it was marvelous to see that was a way to rejoice family and community.
That's
and
right.
friends.
So then what's your new favorite thing?
Okay, my new favorite is my drama queen right behind me.
Okay, so
Okay, this was one of our, this is in our book, and this one is stitched on Barb's Blend. And it was from our first kit from Market, you know, when we did years ago.
Oh, really? I don't remember
and
it
so,
even.
Since the linen was different, I made the colors lighter. I just wanted it to look like spring. So after it was stitched, I photographed it and took it to my printer, and they printed it on canvas. Now this poor
it's
little
on
thing,
canvas.
It's on canvas, and of course the poor little thing fell down last night because I had it on a command hook.
Yes.
And it had glass.
Right.
And
did it have glass?
Oh, I could hear it
no.
sliding down, and then I heard the crack, and it was
no.
I could hear the crash
Yep.
and saw the glass. So poor little thing, she was hurt last night. But I love this because when you see it from a distance, it is so big and so graphic.
Well, and you could see it all the way across a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about doing that with some of my other samplers because I love that it's so big and
Right.
bold. It almost feels like, you know, an art print to me
That's
now.
true. Yeah.
Not that I don't love this, don't get me wrong.
Totally.
But this was just something, it was looking at cross-stitch new
Just
for
in a
me.
different way. And
It
you guys
really
are always
was.
really good at that, like making copies of things and decorating
Yeah.
paper mache boxes.
And when she was hanging higher, I loved her over the fireplace, and I can imagine her just in over the sofa or something. It's just, I love the colors of it. It's probably not color correct to the
pretty
actual
close.
sampler, but what the heck? Do I care? No,
No.
I love it.
And there's a lot of you can get that done in a lot of
new
places
favorite
online
thing.
these
I think
days.
I'm going to. You can?
Yeah, I mean, like if you go like Vistaprint and some of those places. I think
Really?
Sam's Club will print on canvas.
Really?
And,
So you just send a JPEG?
Yep.
Oh, okay,
And they stick it in the
everybody
mail,
do
too.
it because I'm here to tell you it's fun.
Yeah, totally. And so, what do you do? Like, what do you do when you get home from Market?
Well, I'm not going home. I'm going to
Okay.
go home. I'm going to go visit my sister and get to see her because she lives in Knoxville. So I always combine that.
That's
with,
really nice.
Yeah.
So you can rest a little bit.
I'm going
And
to see my 96-year-old aunt, and then I'm going home. So
oh, nice.
when I get home, I kick my shoes off and unpack after I unpack the car. So
Cool. Well, rest easy, and we'll see you next time.
thanks, Teresa.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Live from Nashville, Arizona, Tennessee, somewhere. And this is Paulette from Plum Street Samplers. Lovely bunch of stuff that you created again. How many more animals can you fit in that bowl? That's what I want to know. Like,
Well, I'll be standing them all up.
yes, okay.
Just cram them in.
So
there,
have you received like a lot of requests for certain animals?
Oh gosh, yes.
What was the
Yes.
weirdest one, do you think? Where you were like,
Well, my sister just requested I do a tombstone stack, so that's not an animal.
a tombstone stack?
But yeah, I've had all kinds of crazy things. I got a raptor stack yesterday. Was that you too?
A raptor
You
stack?
Yeah, it's just anything. I got hippo stacks and
Okay.
Tanya from the Scarlet House suggested Boston bundles.
Okay.
That one's going to have to be coming.
I think I recommended cats, right?
You
I'm trying to
did.
remember if I had I have
You've
kind
got
of a crazy
kitty
suggestion.
litter. you
Kitty
recommended,
litter.
And
That's
someone
right.
else yesterday said cat clump. So we might have to have two.
Yes.
But I get a lot for ducks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the questions I'm asking people is, what is kind of one of your, like in your heart, one of your favorite designs you've ever done that either maybe goes back a ways or maybe you feel like people didn't notice as much as you thought? Like, is there one that you're just like, you know what, I really love this one?
You know, I like beans. And it's funny.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the little coffee one.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I had a lot of people saying, you know, you got that verse wrong. And I said, yeah.
Yes.
Because it was just, I did beans, the magical fruit. The more
Yes.
you drink, the more
you
magical
eat-
brew. The more
the
you drink,
brew.
the more you do.
I gotcha.
And people were saying, that's wrong. That's not how it goes.
Yes.
I'm like, I know. I liked that one. I don't know. I think.
Well, and you're a coffee aficionado, so.
Oh well, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one that I just really like it. I like 3371. I love that color.
Yep.
And that was just a fun one.
And
But
so have you got anything coming up this year, like retreats or like classes or
I do.
exclusives?
I have a retreat at Country Sampler,
Okay,
and I have one at Silver Needle
great.
and Shepherd's Bush.
Oh my goodness, you've got a really full year then, because it's a
Yeah.
lot of work to get ready for a retreat.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun though. They're a
Cool,
lot of
and
fun. I love
you
'em.
recently moved to Pennsylvania.
I did.
What do you think of it so
I
far?
did. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm used to flat Nebraska. I thought
Yep.
Nebraska was kind of hilly, but it's not once I got to
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And people make fun of me there because I say, oh, I live up the mountain. And they say, that's a hill. And if my ears pop, it's a mountain. It's a mountain.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, but it's very windy and beautiful. And the people are so nice.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
That's
they're
good to
so
hear.
nice. It's strange, just everywhere I go, whether I'm sitting in a mechanic shop or the grocery store, they act like you're a regular. And
Right. Oh, that's so
it's so
nice.
nice. And I don't know how it is in the city part of it.
Right.
I'm out in,
Is there anything that you have there now, food-wise or drink-wise or treat-wise, that you're like, oh, where was this all my life?
Not yet.
Have you had a Philly cheesesteak yet?
Not from there. No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But I'm surprised at the lack of fast food in there.
Really?
Yeah, and it's funny because Omaha is very organized.
Yes.
And laid out on a grid.
Yes.
And you have your commercial and you have your residential. But in Pittsburgh, you'll have a house, an airport, a house, a dental clinic, a pizza place, and a house.
And then a cross-stitch designer.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, when I first moved there and I'm trying to use maps to get around
Yeah.
places, I was panicking because I thought I'm supposed to be going here, whatever business, but
Yep.
I'm in a housing area, and all of a sudden there it is. And like the butcher, I was looking for a butcher, and he was right in the middle of it was a house in a housing area. That was
Okay.
the butcher.
All right.
I was
All
like,
right.
Okay. I just love it though. It's a nice place to live.
That's
The
great.
People are wonderful.
Well, all your market stuff looks great, and congratulations on getting to the show, getting everything ready.
Thank you, you too.
and heading
You
home to much
too.
success.
Your things are
Aw,
beautiful.
shucks.
Just beautiful.
Thanks.
They are. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lisa. Bye.
I don't know.
You
Can
asking
you
us
speak?
questions?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you questions.
Okay.
Or unless you have something to say, how's the show been going?
Very good.
Very good. Are you out of anything yet?
One thing,
Okay, what is that?
it is the 6th day of Christmas.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I've heard a lot of people talk about those.
You can see my brain is a little fried.
Yeah.
I know. I think we're all feeling a little punch drunk at this point. So everything looks great.
Thank you.
One of the questions I've been asking designers is, do you have a design that's like got a special place in your heart? Maybe it's older, but something that you just really love, and maybe people forgot about it or missed it just because it came out with some other things.
I have a couple of those because I re-released a bunch that I
Right.
had previously released in like 2000 under
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth's Garden.
Yep.
So they have a special place in my heart. I've kind of adapted them, refreshed them, made them more me and now. But it's always fun when people are still drawn to those. 'Cause
Yeah.
I designed them so long ago.
Yeah. Is there one of those in particular that you? I like that one
Funny
too.
you should ask.
I like that one too. And what's the name of that one?
It's a Pennsylvania bird.
Very, very pretty. The colors are great, and it's
Yes.
classic. Like it's still, even though it was a long time ago, it still looks great.
Yep. I changed very little about that.
Very
To bring
cool.
it back to
How about you, Kathy?
I have a favorite that nobody seems to care about much.
What is it? What is it?
Where my pets are.
You want me to get it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
get it, and we'll show it. And so,
Okay.
what's the story behind that one?
It's just so folk arty, and
It is folk arty.
and it's all about pets, and I love animals.
I
and my
know you
pets,
do.
and-
And the color.
It's really
palette.
pretty. Kind of zoom in on it.
Okay. So
Home is
what are
where
you
my pets
people
are.
thinking? What are you waiting for?
Well, they're waiting for somebody to make a video where somebody talks about
there
it.
we go.
And they were giving it a plug. It is super, super cute. And I mean, you're like the queen of folk art anyway.
Well, I try.
And you guys parted with a few samplers this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
And are there any left even, or a
A
couple?
few.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
A bunch of tiny French ones that
Yeah.
are just
Some like scraps, fragments.
Yeah. It's kind of like too many samplers, not enough time, right?
yes, exactly.
And so, what do you guys do when you get home after this?
Sleep.
Sleep.
Crash.
The first day is gonna
We
be
have
sleeping.
a silent 11-hour road trip home.
Oh, really? It's no. You're like, and then she said, and then I said.
We recount everything. thing.
I
Yeah.
know,
We
you just
laugh
hash
about
it all
it'll be
over.
fun. It'll
That's
be fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's super cool to me that you guys get to do it together, and it makes me a little jealous. I wish I had a cool daughter like Liz, and
Yeah,
it would be super
everybody should
fun.
have a
It's
list.
fun.
I
It makes it
know.
more special.
Well, congrats on a great show,
Thank you.
and keep designing.
We will.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, we're here with Linda and Chessie and me, and
It's not necessarily you.
you must be the me in Chessie and me.
I am the me and Jessie and me.
Okay. And what? How's market been going?
Market's been going great. I've got 6 new pieces this year in this market.
Okay.
And we've been doing fabulous business. Everybody
Great.
seems to like
Everybody's
it. So
buying.
that's-
So
yeah.
let's look down the list and see what you've got. You've got this little
This
pincushion
is
kit.
a pincushion kit. It's called Strawberry Liberty.
It's so pretty.
It comes with the linen and the silk threads.
Yeah.
Kind of introduces you if you'd like to try silk.
Yep. Oh,
You're
nice.
afraid to buy all the full skeins.
And hand-dyed fabric too. It looks
Yes,
like.
hand-dyed fabric.
Nice. And then tell me
And
about this one.
This is to have a friend. It's a little, the lid actually sits in a little box.
Oh yeah, cute.
So you can do like a flat fold
Mm-hmm.
finish on it, and then you
Oh,
just
what a-
drop it into the lid
How
of the
cute is
box.
that? Very sweet
Put
little
your
set.
little
And sometimes
cover.
on dark fabric, things really just kind of look
Pop.
more colorful. Yeah.
Yeah,
very,
and then
very
there's
pretty.
a little fob and a little pin keep that goes
Neat.
with it.
And
this
reproduction.
one is- yeah, this is the original one. If you want to pan down there.
Yep. Martha Jefferson.
1842,
42.
and then
in wool, it looks like mostly.
yeah, I think it was in wool, but it's on, you know, much bigger count. I
Right.
reduced it on a 36 count with overdyed linen, with overdyed cotton,
Uh huh.
and this is the full reproduction. And then I also did a little fragment pillow.
Yeah, that's just as cute as can be. Because
Because-
sometimes people don't want to stitch the whole.
Exactly, and I'm surprised at how well just the pillow itself has been selling too, because people like just a piece of it.
And that's got a little bit of kind of lavender blue kind
It
of
does,
in there.
yeah, down in here. There's-
Yeah, very, very pretty.
It's very springy colors. They're
Yes.
fun. And then this
This
one's
is the one I
called
really liked.
Bird and Bee,
Very cute.
and everybody seems to love the sideways alphabet.
It is. It's
on there.
neat. It's
something
neat.
different. Yeah, and then the last little one is called American Stitch House, and it's a little needle roll. It goes inside the box, is
Uh-huh.
finished.
Neat.
So it all can be rolled up and put inside the box, and then you have a little flag on the roof.
How sweet. Now, one of the questions that I'm asking people
Yes,
is, out of like all your designs, do you have one that just is really special to you that you feel like maybe people forgot about, don't know about, or like something that
previous
you've
designs?
yeah, just previous design, something that you're like, this one, I like this one so much.
Well, I have so many favorites. It's really hard to say. But, you know, a lot of my old ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, some of them I really love. I can't even give you a name right now. I know, like, my 2 favorite reproduction samplers are Esther Idison,
Yes.
which is that big one
Yep.
on either wool or cotton.
Yep.
And then also Sarah Casey
Unwin.
Unwin.
Yes, they are both
Those
beautiful.
and they're both fun. The Sarah Casey Unwin has a real unusual flower pot on it with kind of unusual looking flowers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a real fun one to do. It's, you know, they're big and they're kind of scary, but there again with Sarah, I did a fragment pillow, and it's just the big flower basket.
Nice. I like your Mary Kay Holt.
Yes,
Little
I love
marking
that.
sampler.
And that one is just very simple, but it's
The colors are nice, and it just is kind of classic sampler
Yeah.
wonderfulness.
And, you know, the fun part about samplers are you kind of get the feel for the little girl that stitched them.
You do.
And Mary Kay Holt, the way she finishes her sentences, she literally, to fit the words in, one she has to do up the side.
Yep.
And then another one she like dropped down a little
Yep,
bit.
mhm.
But you can tell she was bound and determined
Yes.
to get it fit in. So
Isn't that cool?
I get a kick out of that. And that's one of the reasons I love doing
Yes.
the sample reproductions.
Well, everything looks great. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
to hear that you had a successful market, and thanks
Yes.
for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Jamie's questions.
Okay,
Yes.
why don't you sit too?
Okay, we're
Oh, wait, let's get interviewed together. No.
gonna. Who is it?
It's Alma.
Alma. Okay, formal and professional.
Yes.
Hello, and good afternoon. We are speaking with Beth Twist from Heartstrings Samplery. She's had a lovely weekend with all of her new models. How's the weekend been going?
It's been great.
Great. So what was your big deal here? What was the one that was like, was there one that was a runaway?
Well, yes, this one right here surprised
Oh,
me.
that's my favorite.
Is it really?
It is.
I think because it's a re-release for me, it was for a retreat piece, and I like the new and shiny things.
Yes.
And it doesn't feel new and shiny.
Right.
And so it surprised me, but it's new and shiny to all of you.
It is, yep. Very pretty.
And I do really enjoy it. This was a project I worked on with Linda Stoltz of Erica Michaels.
Yeah, very, very pretty. And so one question that I'm asking everybody this weekend is, what design of yours, from all of them, has like a really special place on your heart, but maybe you feel like people have forgotten about it, or maybe it didn't get the attention you kind of felt it deserved? Like, do you have just kind of one of those
I have
old favorites?
A few of them. The one that jumps out into my mind is called Let It Begin With Me, and it's just this really small piece when it's stitched, and it's mounted on a wooden paddle board. And it just says Let It Begin With Me, and at the time that was such a meaningful phrase. And then I released it at market, and I think it just didn't really get seen. It didn't really...
it was maybe small, and there were maybe bigger things that captured other people's attention.
I think it was the same year I released Coffee Quaker.
Oh, yep.
And that one overshadowed the rest of them.
Yep.
So
good.
Yeah.
And so you fly.
Yes.
And so what's the biggest challenge coming to market from the other side of the country?
The biggest challenge is trying to accurately predict within a certain margin how many charts are going to sell, because they're very heavy. And I don't want to ship so many that I'm having to mail them back to Oregon again. And have you seen anything at this market by somebody else that you think is really amazing? Yes, there's this one lady, and she has a chart that's got 2 samplers by the same girl. And I believe it's called 2 by Julia.
I might have seen that somewhere. It does, to me, when I charted them, I thought, this looks like something that Beth would do. Like, it's her color palette. It's kind of her subject matter.
And the other one is the Kathy Barrick one with the big funky flower. Is it the Lion and the Lamb?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then I have a third one that was on my radar, and that was Paulette Stewart's. And I don't remember what it's called. Is it the one that says, does it say this is the day the Lord has made?
I think so.
Or something like
I'll
that.
pop a picture up so you guys can see what she's talking about.
It's the one that has the little angel, and there's like pink and anyway.
It's always fun to see what other people come up with.
Yeah. And honestly, there are probably some other must-haves out there for Beth Twist, but I was so nose to the grindstone getting ready that
you kind of have
I missed a lot of the announcements, and I haven't been out to look around yet.
Yesterday was pretty bonkers.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking with us, and safe travels home. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, we're talking to Carmen, who is here in Stacey Nash's booth, and she's got a special sampler to share with us too. And what can you tell us about the sampler here?
Okay, this is Jane Penny, 1834.
Okay.
And I met a friend from Michigan, and she had this sampler, and she said, "Oh, would you reproduce it for me?" And I said, "Sure." And so this is what we ended up with. We tried to do a little bit of research, but there were some missing parts that we couldn't discern, and I think that was maybe town and area. So we think it's Scottish because of the motifs and such, and the colors, but other than that, we couldn't trace the heritage on them.
Now, to me, one of the most unusual things about that sampler is the flowers at the top that are just angular and like just really so prominent.
It's a really special sampler. I am so glad that Sandy asked me to reproduce it for her.
It's very, very, very pretty. Now, what's the deal with this cow? Oh, you're wearing a pig. I thought it was a cow. What's the deal with the pig?
Well, okay, this is a Kathy Barrick design.
Yes.
Dangerous to be around Kathy Barrick. But my husband, he used to raise swine.
Oh, really?
So that's why I am and then I also have a degree in animal science.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why all the animals.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it, and I don't have any swine experience.
But if you do, you love it even more.
Yeah, correct. Now, do you have any other samplers that you're kind of eyeballing for maybe a future release? Or?
Oh, I have a whole bunch at the house.
Yeah.
So I work full time too. I work in a soil testing lab.
Yep.
And so
just having to squeeze it in on the weekends. And
so and of course I love everybody else's stuff too, and I want to stitch everything.
I know,
so
that's kind of how it goes. You just only have so many hours in the day. But this one is really, really neat, actually. And so we're really glad that you brought it to market to share. And I'll have this on my website.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And
I hope everybody enjoys it.
I really think they
It
will.
was a fun stitch. And
Now, look at this peacock. His tail is just grand.
yeah.
Yeah, really amazing. All right, have a safe trip home, and thanks for coming.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Out of breath. I'm at the Scarlet House. Everything looks great. You have such a good use of red when you design. Like, I just love the cream. Now, tell me, are these original?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. Are you talking about the pillow?
Yeah, the little pillows.
I own an antique that is Alice Gardner. And
Okay.
it's just a framed little sampler.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to do something with it.
Right.
But I just didn't think anybody would want it just as a little frame sampler.
Okay.
So I made up these two little girls as
They're really
her
cute.
friends.
Oh.
So I'm looking through books trying to figure out, okay, what are British names? Because I wanted it to
Okay,
be like
sure. Yeah,
British.
yeah.
So I came up with Claire Beecher and Edith Grayson.
What a great idea. They're and they all come in the same pattern
Yes,
booklet.
they do.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
And then is this one a reproduction or an original
Yes,
design?
No, it's
okay.
a reproduction. And there is a little bit of history on her.
Okay.
In the back of the chart.
Okay,
I
nice.
found out she's from the Highlands in Scotland.
Okay, cool.
And I know when she got married, how many children she had when she passed away.
Cool. And this must be another reproduction here.
Well,
oh no, it's got your initials on it.
It's really more of an adaptation.
I like it.
Because I do own the antique, and it's real faded and ratty, and the motifs were not necessarily in that exact position. So obviously, I gave her credit.
Yep.
And added my initials because
Sure.
I kind of redid it.
Yeah, it's real cute. This set is what my customers have been waiting for.
Oh.
Was this the big runaway?
It was.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was.
It's a really fun, grouping,
It
and
was
they're all original designs.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun
Very
to
pretty.
design because
Yeah.
my husband didn't quite get the name, but I said it's neat. It's what we need. Everybody needs a coverlet, a quilt,
Yep.
sampler,
Mhm.
vintage buttons, and the sewing things.
Very, very
And this
pretty.
is also charted with buttons, so people.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yeah.
And then is this a reproduction?
No. Yeah, it is.
It is,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I do. have
Everybody
an
loves
antique.
the girls in the dresses.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it would be a great friend gift.
Yes, yes.
Stitch
You
it for
could
a
put
friend.
initials, on either side. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I really I think this is what I like the best from you is these little
Thank
bouquets.
you.
They're very, very cute.
Well, they're two different versions. Both versions are in the chart.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to do it on black.
Yes.
So I stitched this one first, and then I thought, well, I didn't want to get hate mail, so I.
Yeah, because some people don't like to stitch on black.
Right. So I did this
Did
one
the
as
lighter.
well.
Yep.
And
very,
there's
very
there's
pretty.
they're
So
all
two
the
different
same
color
threads.
palettes.
Right.
Yeah. Very nice. And tell us about this one here.
Well, this is the oldest sampler in my collection.
And it's from, oh my goodness, 1755.
Right. And I loved her name.
Philadelphia Vine. What? I didn't even,
Well,
that didn't even register with me.
Unfortunately, I don't have any history, but she is an English sampler.
So this would be
British.
pretty early for the use of a border. Like a lot of times the samplers in the 1700s were on thin banding, where they
Yeah.
weren't very wide.
Yep.
And I think the borders were just kind of starting to creep in. But it's kind of band samplery, but not
Right. Not too much.
Not too much,
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
And the
not too
bottom
much.
really over two. She stitched it over two.
Yes.
Titles may set a gloss upon our name, but virtue only is the life of fame.
Yeah.
Very, very
I like
pretty.
this verse. This verse has always spoken to me.
Very cool. And I've been asking people, do you have a chart that you designed, or it could even be like a reproduction where you're like, this is really one of my favorites, and you feel like maybe people kind of missed it, or it's a long time ago and they might have forgotten about it.
I can always tell you the one that I wished I had
Yeah.
reproduced, which is yours.
Oh,
Sarah Woodham is.
Oh,
That's my all-time favorite.
but how about for
sampler.
your own? Like for your own, do you have like a favorite that's just deep in your heart?
Yeah, it would have to be Rachel Howells.
Oh yes, and that
my
one's been
favorite.
so popular,
Yeah.
and it's neat to see so many people stitching it. Like they're not only buying the charts, but they're actually.
It's making a kind of a resurgence, I
Yes,
guess.
it's the
coming
border's
back.
so
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah. No, that's probably. I love them all, like my kids, I guess,
Yeah.
or dogs. But yeah, I would have to say that's the one that I probably, if I had a fire.
Yes,
I
then you would grab that one
Mhm.
first. That's
Yeah,
how I
yeah,
think of it
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Like, okay, if I got to get out of here, what's the escape plan?
She's a Welsh sampler, and
Uh-huh.
I've since acquired two more, and they are I've come to realize those are my favorite. That's my style.
Right.
Welsh is my favorite type
yeah.
of sampler. So yeah, that would be it.
And market was good for you this year?
Yes.
Or do you have anything left at all?
I have a few.
Okay.
A few. I kind of got carried away on the colonial blooms because in years past, it seems like the original smalls were the ones that sold the most. So I have a few more of these than anything else. But this was the first to go.
Oh,
And
okay,
then-
great.
Yeah, and then needfuls I've been
Yes,
selling for a while.
Yeah, it's just another great batch as always. And it's so
Thank
neat
you.
to see what you do with your, not only your reproductions, but what a clever idea on these little pin cushions.
Well, I don't use a model stitcher.
Oh, so
And-
everything is you?
Yes.
Wowzers.
And so I have to enjoy it from the beginning to the end.
Yep.
I couldn't stitch Mickey Mouse or something that I didn't really like.
Yeah. And that's what when I'm buying samplers, I say to myself, would this be fun to stitch? Because sometimes something is beautiful, but you're like, oh Lord, but the border,
Oh, speaking of that, I realized that not only can I sell samplers, I can buy them while I'm selling. I was bidding on one, and it's got a great dog and a great border, and I'm like, okay, I hope nobody comes in while I'm here watching this auction run out.
That's so funny.
But I got it, so that worked.
All right, well, good to see you, and I'm
You
glad
too. Thank you,
market went
Teresa.
well for you. Thanks, bye-bye.
Yeah, I gotta get into your room.
Yes,
too.
but I mean, we've got 20 minutes of the show left, basically. And so the crunch time is here. If you haven't sold it by now, you got to hurry up and like convince people to take it home with them.
Right.
You're probably not going home with much though, right?
Well, we did have some things on order because when we took pre-orders, so we knew, oh, we're going to sell out of this. So we had some books printed and shipped here.
I gotcha.
And so we're taking some of those home. But
Right.
we didn't run out of anything except the show exclusive. And that was my goal.
Yeah.
Because we always run out of stuff. And then we have to go home and fill orders and ship them. And we didn't want to do that.
Well, and people sometimes feel disappointed that they came all this way, and it's like, oh
Right.
shoot, they didn't have it. So what was? Did you have one that was your big seller?
Let Love Rain.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the biggest.
Yeah,
Everyone loved
that was the one
one.
I told you my husband particularly liked. Was like that. That's actually nice.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that about mine, but he said it about yours. I'm like, maybe you should marry the other Teresa then. She's such a nice sampler designer.
That's hilarious.
So one question that I'm asking everybody
Okay.
is, do you have a piece that you designed, like, and it could even be punch needle or whatever, but something you designed that has a special place in your heart that you love, that people maybe like missed or have forgotten about, or it was a long time ago, something that you just are still like when you see it, you're like, yeah, I nailed it. Like that's great.
Land that I love is still.
Yeah, I love that one.
Well, because I love patriotic
Yep.
stitching, anyways, and it's still one of our best sellers.
Oh yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, and that was one that's near and dear to my heart. I think just because I like patriotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest sampler I've ever designed. Is big.
It's you don't realize it until you see it, like how big it is.
Right.
Have you been cross stitching at all? Because I know you kind of dabbled in it a little bit in Amana.
Yeah, I'm stitching. I'm doing a monthly. Yeah, every month I'm coming out with a PDF, and they are scripture.
Yeah.
And so they're just little ditties, and I'm stitching all of those.
And you're getting used to it?
I really enjoy stitching. I just don't have a lot of time to do it.
I know.
I really do like it, and I see where everyone's like, I don't really want to do a stitch.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm not coming out with so much punch needle anymore. Is because
Well, yeah, I mean,
the cross stitch has kind of taken over my
That's
business.
right.
So.
And then I know that you're Riley Blake.
Yes.
I just got an account. I finally got my
awesome.
confirmation that I have an account with them. And so tell me about like what you're going to be doing with Riley Blake.
Okay, so I had my first line come out with them this past October called For the Love of Nature. My Halloween line comes out soon, and I heard that it's going to be sold out.
Nice.
The Halloween line, so that was thrilling to learn. And then my next one is called Stitchy Birds, and it's folk art birds and cross stitching intertwined.
Wonderful. And so these are quilting fabrics, like 100% cotton quilting fabrics.
Yep.
Yes. And are you designing anything, like are you designing quilts also to go with those, or it's just kind of the fabrics at this point?
Right now it's just the fabrics. I bought the designer program. I've looked at it. I've tried. I don't know what I'm doing. And I haven't really had the time to sit down and, just say I'm taking, a week to just really dive into it because there's quite a learning curve there. So
yeah.
I would like to design some small pieces, probably not big quilts, but like just some tabletop things.
Yeah.
Because I want to make project books that will have punch needle, wool applique, a little quilting project, something like that.
Yeah.
In a project book.
Yeah.
So I want to obviously include my quilting fabric somehow. So there'll be small pieces though.
You know which one I liked of yours this market was your Madonna.
Oh, thank you.
And is it called Madonna and Child?
Madonna and Child.
Yeah, love it. I was a Catholic schoolgirl, so I look at that and it like brings me all the way back to kind of that icon.
Look, right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and you got all the angels. Those are so pretty too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very popular. You know, they're a little bit more intense stitch, obviously, because there's more color changes and full coverage with the faces and stuff. Well, some of my angels, even the background was full coverage, but you wouldn't have to stitch that.
Right. You could just pick like a hand-dyed fabric that had a little bit of personality.
Right.
And then the last thing, you've got Retreat in Amana. And what are the dates for that? Do you remember? Yeah. It's sometime in May. Sometime in May. And I think that's your first like retreat, right? Is that the first one you taught? No, you taught it before.
Not there.
Okay.
Right. It's my first time for that retreat. Yeah,
and so how do you feel about that? I mean, you've been to Amana. So.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's nice that I've been to the fall retreat twice, just there having fun, and I've gotten to know a lot of the people there, so it'll feel comfortable, I think.
Yeah.
You know, being the guest designer.
Very friendly group of people.
Oh, yeah. So much fun.
Yep.
For sure.
Well, congratulations on another great show, and we can't wait to see what you come up with next.
Teresa.
Bye.
Bye.
Here we are with Thy Needle and Thread. Lovely pieces as always. This sampler is so beautiful. It's got a lot of really nice elements, like the teal and the flowers there. I think is so pretty, and a lot of these little pieces would make great just individual smalls. I really like that one. And then we've got the Elizabeth Hunt sampler, and that's the original. And then here is the reproduction, which is one of my favorite things from Market. I think it's so pretty. And I bet it's just a joy to stitch because that border's got a lot of variety in it. And the frame is beautiful. And then we've got the little pin cushions, which everybody's been waiting for. I think that's the, for my customers, that's what they've been really waiting for, is this book with pin cushions in it. It's fun to have little weekend projects. And there's just a lot of fun colors, and they're very doable. And then we've got the seasonal pieces, which I think these little vignettes are just adorable. Everything's got, like, look at the star in this one. And that's called Seasons of the Heart. Very nice. It comes as a full color booklet like that. And then another reproduction, which I love to see. I got all of these. There's the original antique, a little pin cushion.
Oh, look at that little.
And there's the sampler. So pretty. Always nice to see what Brenda comes up with, don't you think? All right, here we are in Stacy Nash's booth, the famous Stacy Nash. Are you a member of Crosby, Nash, Stills and Young?
Yes,
Were you
actually
sang with
I
them
am. Yeah.
for some
yes,
decades?
I'm famous.
Did you ever break off and like form your own, like a?
I
like
did.
You have like an individual album.
But I didn't. I wasn't successful with that part.
I
but,
hear
you know.
It doesn't always work out. Everything looks great. Tell me about this little grouping here of pin cushions.
So this is my tribute to Barb Adams.
Yes.
It's stitched on Barb's blend from R&R. I added the little blackbird. And we were stitching friends, so I added the little spool and scissors, and of course strawberries for Strawberry Fields because she loved the Beatles.
Yep.
And the blue because she's loved blue, so I just picked a nice blue that I thought was hers, and so this is a tribute to her, and I love it.
It's very pretty. I love it too. And then this little
oh my gosh. Okay, so sweet. This is the original. And I stitched this. I added some things just to fill in from other little Schoolgirl samplers. And you open it up.
It's got that Stacy Nash blue.
There, look at that. I love it.
So pretty.
The hoop and your thread rings. And yes, this has been very popular. So freaking fun.
Now this one, is that one new? I can't remember.
This is not new.
Yeah,
I
didn't think so. I've got that one in stock, I think, for Snowfall.
For Snowfall. Yeah, it's not new, but it's fun.
It is fun. And then this one is not new. That's the Butternut House.
Not new. This was the second release.
Yep. There's Rose Cottage.
Rose Cottage was the first.
Very
so
popular.
fun. Love that house.
And then
this is the newest one. Very
nice.
fun. Very popular, this one.
Yep. Very cute. And do you have plans for a fourth then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great. And then we got over here, there's another little stack of pin cushions done in red.
Oh yes, I love these. Look at them stacked. They're so sweet. I stitched these when it was cold and I was wearing sweaters, and it just
kind of got that vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Now, one of the questions I've been asking people, let's go film waxers while we talk about, is like, do you have a pattern of yours that you created maybe back in your past history that you love that pattern, but people have maybe forgotten about it or maybe missed it for some reason, or it didn't sell as well as you thought it deserved?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes. I have file drawers full.
Oh, okay. So like name one of them. Tell us about one of them.
Oh my gosh. So let me think. There's so many. Oh my gosh. I have to go way back. Probably. Oh, you know what? It's not super old. Primrose Farm.
Oh yeah.
Sewing basket.
Yeah. Super cute.
Loved that one. With
Yes.
the horse
Yep.
and everything.
Yep.
I love that one.
We're gonna give that one a shout out, and I'll put a picture here in the video of that so people can be reminded about it. Now, what's the deal with the little strawberry basket?
Oh my gosh!
I think that's one of my favorite things at market.
So
it's really cute.
So the pattern has a little charm in it, and then look at this little fob.
It's super stinking cute.
So cute. Look at that.
Really, really, really cute.
Yeah, this was
Love
so
the white
fun.
Strawberry.
I don't know. I love strawberries, so I needed strawberries in my life.
Now you know the strawberry was considered the perfect fruit, and that's why it's on a lot of samplers. It's affiliated with Jesus.
Oh,
it has no stone or seed. It's you eat the seeds that are on the outside.
That is true. I remember reading a little bit about that.
And then this sampler is not new, but it's new in pattern form. It was in a book that you wrote some years ago.
Yeah.
And it's such a pretty one. You've got the original here. I don't know how good of a shot we're going to get, but
I love the original. I look at it every day.
Yeah, it's just the colors are really nice, just muted and soft and pretty.
Yeah.
Very,
I just felt
nice.
like the pattern needed to be released so people could have it.
Yeah, even this bottom section would be pretty just to stitch it on its own with like that topper.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
The
very
colors,
nice.
The colors are my favorite.
And so you had a good market and
very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you're energized.
So, oh my gosh, so energized to go home.
Yeah.
And work on new designs, and seeing all my friends here has been so great.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all been
inspired.
separated all for 2 years,
too
so.
long.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us,
Thank
and
you.
safe travels getting home.
All right, thanks.
Bye bye. Ended like 12 minutes ago. How did it go?
Oh, amazing. It was amazing. That's our best show ever.
And can you tell me how long does it take you to get here?
It takes us about 15 and a half hours flight.
Oh my gosh.
We fly into Nashville. Oh, we don't fly to Nashville. We fly into Dallas. We pick up a car.
It's about 9 hours.
And it's about a 9-hour drive from Dallas.
Oh my gosh,
to
that is
Nashville.
commitment.
Yes.
So what to you makes it worth your while to like go to all that trouble to get here?
Oh, we just love coming to the States. We also couple it with a holiday. We've got 2-week vacation over here now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we have a break. Just seeing friends, seeing all the customers face to face. It's a long way. In Australia, you can feel very disconnected from everything. So we get to market and we just feel connected to the community.
Right. And tell me, how many yards of fabric did you bring?
Over 1,000.
Yeah.
About 1,100 yards.
And how many hours did it take to sell out?
Oh,
So we opened at 9 yesterday, and
4.
we sold out at 4.
Oh, that's crazy. So 7 hours. 1,000 yards of fabric.
But most of I think we had that last 10 just sitting there. I think it was more like 2. And we just had another 10 yards, and then one shop just came in and bought the lot.
So did you, were you like, this will be plenty? I mean, 1,000 yards, that's got to be plenty of fabric.
We would have probably liked about another 400, I think you originally planned on. But with all the rain we've had at home, we've had flooding for weeks.
Yeah.
And whereas it might, Brendan can at a push get about 150 yards dyed and dried a day. When it's wet, he can do about 60 because we have to hang it indoors, and it takes about 2 to 3 days to dry. So rather than 450 in 3 days, he has 60 in 3 days.
Right.
So you're probably about 500 shy of what you would have liked to have brought.
Yeah.
So
it still seems like an awful lot of fabric.
It's a lot of it's a lot of fabric when you see it. It's like the funny thing was we had, just piles of it on the table,
right,
with all the rest in the bedroom. Yeah. And as we had a line at our door. I still can't believe it. As they were coming in, they were seeing that pile go lower, and they thought that's all we had. And the look on people's faces, and they're like, no, we've got plenty out the back. And then we'd haul more in, and they're like, oh, great. And everyone to the end of that long queue, and that was ours, got what they wanted, or there might have been the odd one piece short. So they all went happy, thankfully.
And you've got a lot of colors, like neutrals, but then you have like some kind of, not wild colors, but you've got some other colors. Do you guys have a favorite in the line of fabrics that?
It's hard because I do like the 2 new ones. Prior to the 2 new releases, I'm looking over there just because some of our samples are there. I'd say paperbark is my favorite.
Yeah, I like it too. And it's been so hot lately. Like everybody wants paperbark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the 2 new ones I love are flannel flower and saltbush. So
yeah,
because
they're
the
great.
2 new neutrals, they're my favorites. Do you have a favorite?
Saltbush is my favorite.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Yeah. And hog bristle is the first one that started it all. So,
yes.
That was named, by the way, that was named by Paulette. That was not, because we did that one for her.
Yeah.
She got to name it. So everyone says, where's hog bristle come in, Australia? We're like, we didn't name that one. So.
Yeah.
But,
Beth named her fabric today too.
And Beth named, we've done one for Beth Twist as well, so she got to name that one today.
It's called Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think she told me about. Yep, I kind of know. Yep. Cool.
So
and so now you don't only do fabric, but you've got some designs too.
Yes.
I'll pan over and catch them. I took pictures earlier, but so who's doing all the charting on those?
That would be me. Brendan does our free stitch along that we do every year, and he does design, but with all the fabric dyeing he's been doing lately, he hasn't had much time. So
yeah, I mean, there are only so many hours in a day, right?
Yeah, and we do a lot of reproduction samplers, but then I do my own as well, and that's something I had run out of time for doing, but I will be doing a lot more of that going home.
And where do you find your samplers then? Since I think a lot of people think like, Europe and America.
Well, yeah, online, eBay, like a lot of people do, but we've also been fortunate that we've had a lot of friends lend us their family samplers and things.
Okay.
We have actually got the rights from some museums in
okay.
Australia.
Yep.
We've actually just secured the rights to 2 very early, beautiful Australian samplers, which are very rare.
Yes.
Which we'll be releasing in August. So yeah, we mostly buy online, at auction sites. We also do look when we're going around antiquing. We've found a few in Australia. Mostly they've come. We don't have any American ones. I don't think. Ours have all been Scottish or English or Australian.
Right.
Or Welsh.
Or Welsh, yeah. So Mary Morgan's, which is that bright one. That one's a little bit of a bright one for us, but because we didn't particularly care for the colours on the front, it was very vibrant on the back, and we thought we'll take a chance. Whether anyone will like it, we don't know. But it's been very, very popular, especially with some of the younger stitchers,
right?
Who usually don't do samplers. They're actually stitching that one.
Yeah.
So that's been very, very fortunate. So yeah. And that was just one online, wasn't it, Brent? You just put that one online. Sometimes we miss out at the very last second.
Yeah, I know, and that's such a bummer.
The one that Hands Across the Sea, we actually were winning it until the very last second, and I didn't know until it was released by Hands Across the Sea that it was the one with the giant pear. We were winning that until the dying seconds, and then I thought, I feel hopefully it'll be reproduced, and you wouldn't believe it. 6 months later, Nicola's got it released. So I thought, oh no.
I feel like we should have some kind of private email group or text group where it's like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm bidding on this. Because it seems silly for one of us to bid it up against another designer who might be reproducing it.
You don't know when you're bidding against them who that is.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Tanya Brogman showed me one. She said, "Look what I'm bidding on." She said, "Don't you bid on?" I said, "I won't." No. So funny. Yeah.
So then, when you get home, what's the plan?
Oh well, we're having a 2-week vacation first over here, and then
a couple of days we're remodeling. So we're actually tearing apart the current studio and doubling its size.
Yeah.
Yep. Which will help you guys a lot.
Yeah. So we can move a lot of the process out of the house.
Out of our home.
We can get our home back.
Yeah, I know. People don't realize.
It's trying when it's in your home and you're not getting away from it.
Right.
So in our backyard, but it's got from going from here to here will make a huge difference. So we're getting that done probably in about the first week.
First couple of days.
Yeah, we'll get that all done, and then it's just nice. Just our design area will still be inside when we're designing. That'll still be in our offices. But to get all the cutting, serging, dyeing, ironing all out in that.
Because I don't think people realize how much dust is made by cutting fabric and handling paper and threads.
Yes.
With the linen, you get massive big dust bunnies.
Yeah.
I had a dust bunny so big a couple weeks ago that it crawled itself out from under something. All of a sudden, it was just in the middle of the floor, and it was like a guinny pig. It was like the size of a guinea pig.
Some of the ones we get are like the size of a small dog.
I know, it's crazy.
And that's a lot because we have a big iron, a big rolling iron.
Yep.
And when it goes through there, it just.
Yeah, it pulls.
Also, when you're cutting it as well.
And the cutting, and the serging, you can I'm making sample cards at the moment. I've got fluff and dust all over me, and but yeah, you do have to get it out of your home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But we're actually looking forward to that, and we're also going to have 2 sergers, 2 of our big irons. So this one can, we're going to have a big TV out there, so we can just do it together. So,
teach me to serge.
Yeah, so that'll, and eventually we're going to have to look at hiring people to cut and serge, because that part is not productive.
No, it's, I mean, it's something you can teach a lot of people to do. Exactly. There's no sense of you doing it, but
that leaves us more time to design, more time for Brent to work on more colors.
Yep.
Because that's the part he loves doing.
Right.
But we're going to very much get into a better routine when we get home. We've had a needlework shop for 21 years, and aftermarket we're not going to be doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And that'll make a
just got to consolidate and pick the things that are really screaming success. And
we do.
Yeah.
And we love working together doing this. You know.
Yeah, it's so nice.
I'm so done. You know, it's been wonderful, but it's time to concentrate on this and get our time spent better. And that way we can get the linens out quicker, we can get the designs out quicker. Yeah. And it's what we both love. So.
Well, congrats on a great show. Everybody's loving your fabric, and hopefully you'll be back. So I got a I got a new sampler in the mail this week. I didn't think I would get it. I ordered it, I want to say in February. It came up as a buy it now on... No, it was a bid. And it came up, the bidding ended, I think, the weekend of market. And so I think maybe people weren't looking, you know, the people who do reproductions maybe weren't looking. I look pretty much every day. And you see buy it now sometimes that are a deal. And this was actually a bid, but I was the only bid. And so I think I paid $300 to $350 for it. And it was coming from overseas, and I waited 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 and I waited. And I'm pretty patient. Like it's fine. I either feel like it's gonna get here or it won't, and we'll just figure it out. But I really thought this one was lost, because the last time it, you know, clocked in, it was in customs. And I had that happen one other time when a package just never made it. And it's really too bad. They were 2 sister samplers. I got my money back because it never made it, but it was kind of a bummer that those just disappeared during the pandemic into the shipping system. So anyway, I bought this and it never came. And then it said delivered like a few weeks ago. And I was like, no, it didn't. So I said, I'll just wait. Well, it showed up this week. And so I'll show it to you. It's a pretty neat sampler, and I feel like I got a really good deal on it. Isn't it pretty? It's very gold brown green, and a lot of samplers will take on this hue. That's just how they fade, is very gold brown green. But it's very, very pretty. There's a ton of stitching on it, and I'm all about this bird here. I think even just that would make a lovely reproduction. This one will be tricky to reproduce. It's not unreproducible, but because all of the shades are so close, what you end up having to do, it's kind of mentally taxing to reproduce a sampler like this, because you're working with all shades that are like, ooh, is it, you know, dark olive green or medium dark olive green? You know what I mean? But I think it's very, very, very pretty. The back is covered. And so I'm kind of toying with, do I want to try to take it off of the stretcher bars? It's nailed, as you can see, as most samplers were. And again, you can see the framing goes right up to the edge, guys. That's how they did it. And so I'm not really sure how I'm going to tackle this one, but I really do love that bird. It's so, so pretty. And you've got all these other little scenes, like the girls here in the bottom corner sitting on the grass. There's ducks in the pond over here. And this owl in the top corner. Oop, let's see. Look how cute he is. I am finding, I sent pictures to my friend Kathy, who model stitches for me. And I found that when I took pictures with my phones, the colors were more distinct. And so I think if and when I tackle this one, I'm probably going to take digital photographs and then mess with the contrast or something just to make it easier to discern between the colors. But what a pretty, pretty sampler. Her name was Miss Ann Eliza Purbridge. And it says it's finished December 19th in 1845. She was taught by Mrs. Cook, which is kind of cool to have the attribution at the bottom. But a very, very pretty sampler. I thought I would share that. I am heading to Amana on, let's see, Tuesday, is it? Well, I'm going to leave later on Tuesday, May 2nd, but I will be out of the office May 3rd through May 7th, which is Sunday. So Wednesday through Sunday, I'm going to be gone. I'm driving this time. Airplane tickets just seemed kind of expensive. And sometimes when you fly, it takes just as long to fly as it does to drive. And when you drive, although, you know, there are obviously risks there too, when you fly, there's always the risk of like flights getting canceled or missing your connection. And around here, I would have to drive to either New Orleans or Jackson or down to Gulfport, each of which is an hour and a half to 2 hours away each direction. Then you have to pay to park your car. You have to get there early. You get on one flight because nothing flies from Hattiesburg to Cedar Rapids in Iowa. So you have to do a couple of connections. And so really, once you calculate having to get up super early in the morning to catch your flight in another city, hoping that everything will be on time, sometimes it's just as easy just to be like, I'm just going to get in my car and go. So I think I'm going to leave Tuesday, you know, afternoon, drive as far as I can, and then drive the rest of the way in on Wednesday. I'll be there a day early. And then the retreats is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Paulette Stewart is the teacher. Oh, I have to go. I'll be back in just a second. So where was I? I'm going to be out of the office. I'm excited to go to Amana. Paulette Stewart is the teacher. I have not seen the piece. It, of course, is a surprise. But it's always so much fun to just go and stitch. I talked to my friend Sue on the phone last night, and she had gone to a quilting, kind of like a retreat, but it was like in the city where everybody lived. So it was kind of like a sleep at home retreat. And we were talking about like how much fun retreats are because you get to hang out with people who speak your language. I can be really excited about stitching things and show them to my husband, and he'll be like, oh yeah. But there's nothing like talking to people who do what you do and to get excited together about what everybody's working on and how neat some patterns are or like what cool fabrics you have. And Amana's just a really quaint little town. It's easy. You know, sometimes you go to a retreat and it's like a big city and it's like you got to rent a car. And Amana, it's like you want to go out to lunch or, you know, you want to go out to breakfast. You just literally walk down the street and there's all kinds of cool like vintage antique stores. Like I said, the chocolate shop, there's a great general store with a Christmas, like a whole section of it is just Christmas ornaments, which is really cool. So I'm excited to be going back to that also. Like I said earlier, I've got 2 models out with Stitchers, and they were the sampler that I showed you, and then my friend Kathy just yesterday finished stitching a piece that I designed kind of based on an antique painting, and that's what I've got going on. Things slow down around Easter, and it's kind of nice because you can catch your breath. I think right now I have 101 orders in the queue, which is low, and so it's kind of nice just to, you know, not that they're not a priority, but just to not feel like I have to stay up until, you know, midnight or 1 packing orders to get caught up. It's a very comfortable number of orders. So before we go, I always like to show 3 things that are in my shop. I guess I have 4 things in my shop, the first of which is Zero. This is his favorite place to be. He loves it when I sit down and take the time to just kind of give him snuggles. He's a very sweet, sweet boy, aren't you? He is, I think he's like 12 or 13 at this point. Is that right? Yeah, you're so happy. Okay, 3 things in my shop. Oh, okay. So one of the things, and I don't think I made a video, this came out in January, and I still have some, and you can get them also with the threads, and you can get the fabric in a couple of different counts, including Ada, and you can get, if you want, just the chart and the needle minder that Teresa Kogut had made, but it's called Big Folk Flower. It was an exclusive to me, and here it is. And it's a really kind of a cute little pattern. Let me see if I can take it out. Can I put you down? He says no. But this is the little needle minder that you get with it. It's a heavy kind of metal needle minder that's the same as the birds on the cover. And the threads are miscellaneous overdyes, and the fabric is an X-Jude fabric. And this is what the pattern looks like. And so you can still get those if you missed them. Just look in the under designers in the Teresa Kogut section of my site, and you'll find that there. So make sure to catch that. I've seen it in person. She was working on it last year at one of the Amana retreats, and it's really, really cute. She did it on a dark, kind of a dark chocolatey brown color fabric, and it's really pretty. Okay, I want to go back up. Okay, he says, why did you put me down? Another thing that I have in my shop is Gloriana silks, and I'm going to talk about those for a minute. I've been carrying Gloriana silks for a long, long, long time. I used to carry them at my shop. I always sold a lot of them. They're very nice. Anne from Gloriana is also very nice, as is Jillian, her daughter. So this is how they come, and she does dye a lot of different things too, like ribbon and other types of fibers. The two that I carry are Floramel silk and then just the regular silk. This color is called pomegranate, and I know her reds she double dyes, so they take her, you know, maybe not twice as long, but they take longer because it's you know, dyeing them twice. The reds are tricky to get them real deep. So a question that I commonly get is, what's the difference between, sometimes I'll have a color in stock, like pomegranate. Oh, I only have the Floramel, or I only have the regular base. And people want to know, can I substitute one for the other? And the answer is yes, you can. The difference is the Floramel silks are dyed on an Avera Soie base, Soie d'Alger. And the ply is different. So the Floramel, does it say how many? I want to say it's 12 ply. And then the other silk, no, the regular silk is 12 ply. The Floramel might be like 8 ply, but it's a slightly thicker fiber, and they get twisted up to this kind of half length. You do get 5 yards of the Floramel, 6 yards of the pomegranate, so the regular silk will get you farther in your project, but you absolutely can substitute one for the other. And some people say, well, is it going to look a lot thicker? Not really. I mean, I use them interchangeably, and I like both. There's neither one of these do I like better or think is a nicer silk. They're just two different base silks. And sometimes it's easier to get one base or the other. And so that's kind of why I started carrying the Floramel too, is just to make sure that I always had some stock of these. They're really nice to work with. Not all of them. This is a relatively like solid color. Some of them are quite variegated. Some of them are only slightly variegated. I used them on that new French sampler of mine because it did have a slight variegation, and the original model was slightly variegated. But I will tell you too, I own a lot of antique samplers, and pretty regularly in really examining an old sampler and reproducing it, I can see, oh, they used several different weights of threads. Sometimes they use several different bases of threads. So I might see wool and silk on a sampler, both. And I would guess sometimes they just were trying to work with what they have. Maybe it was kind of a texture thing. I don't know. But you can definitely use one for the other. I recently, a couple weeks ago, got one of the biggest shipments of Gloriana I have ever gotten. I always have silks on order. And it's kind of like everything else. You know, the past couple of years, it's been tricky with supply, and then demand has also been extremely high. So you just have to wait longer for things like silk threads or overdyed cotton threads or linen, even charts sometimes. And so it's not that Anne isn't dyeing silk, it's just that demand is really high, and sometimes it's tricky for her to find the base that she needs. So I'm telling you this because I have a good supply right now, and if there are colors you've been looking for, I might have them in stock, and just go check them out. They're very, very nice and really popular, and I use them quite a bit when reproducing. She's got some great colors for sampler reproductions. The last thing that I'm going to talk about in my shop is something I never made a video for, and it was something that got released towards the end of last year. The end of last year got real crazy for me because I had all these kind of year-long projects that were coming to an end. I did exclusives with different people, and there were delays, and they all kind of came available at one time, which felt kind of overwhelming. And doing these exclusive boxes or exclusive releases is very time consuming for me. Also the people who do them for me. But by the time I get them and I have to assemble them and box them and ship them and everything, it really kind of forces me to work really hard. I'm kind of overdoing boxes right now. Not because I don't like them and not because they're not enjoyable and not because they're not wonderful. It just adds a humongous amount of time that I have to work in a week. And they're super fun to do and people love them. But, you know, I'm always trying new things. So I do have other things in the works. I'm just not doing anything like this. So towards the end of last year, for $210, I released a blind box of reproduction sampler goodies and shipped them out. I have some left. And I was going to show them to you. So pictures have been out for a while. I think people shared pictures of these on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but I'm going to just show them here on my channel so you can see what was in the package and you can still get one if you want to. So the packaging looks like this. I get these drawstring bags from Uline. And, you know, the goal with the boxes is just to kind of get a whole bunch of exclusives all in one place. It's really fun to do that. I did a Christmas box a couple years ago. I do not have intentions of doing one again anytime soon. It was so much work. It was really fun, but there's just one of me is kind of what it comes down to. So I'm going to do from the bottom and from the top. So the first one is Elizabeth Haig 1802 by Kathy Barrick. And this is a sampler reproduction. And it's really cool. Really one of my favorite colors these days is brown. I don't know why. There's so many pretty browns. It gets a bad rap. Everybody wants to do red or yellow. So that was a sampler reproduction. Then I got Snow White's Forest Pom-Pom Trim by Dames of the Needle. And so that's an exclusive color, exclusive to the box. Oh, I really love this packet. This is by Liz Matthews. And you get 3 cross-stitch patterns in this book. And look at how pretty it is. Oh my goodness. And I'm all about the drum. Who isn't? So that, again, that's exclusive to this box. Oh, and Kathy Barrick did a set. I said, would you do a set of stickers for the box? Because she does these stickers that you use on the back of your projects. And just to say, like, you know, who made it, when you finished it, the title, the designer, what linen you used, and what thread. And so you get these little stickers. So there's that one. This is one of my favorite ones, the little bird. And a little stag. And a little tree. And another little bird. I love that one. This one's kind of Christmassy. This one's kind of white worky. And a little house. So you get a pack of those stickers. Then you get, oh, this one. So Tinka was going to do this for me as an exclusive just to do separately, but I said, let's put it in the box. It's so pretty. And I like the border on this one is just triangles, which is so cool. And it's got these lumpy little like Dr. Seuss trees on the corners. So there's that one. Oh, and then Beth Twist got you saw them at Market probably. She did a couple of like thread palettes, but she did this little, it's kind of like scissors jewelry. And I think they use a tree from their property to make these little kind of scissors accessories. And it comes with a little, you know, string with a clasp on it to use it. And these are made one by one. Little tiny horn book with the alphabet. I think those are really, really cute. So those are exclusive to the box. This one is from Needlework Press. I'm so lucky to have like such good friends in the industry. The original is here on the back. And then here's the reproduction. Maria Clark. I love these ladies with their skirts. Aren't they cute? And then this was something that I didn't do a pattern for the box. I always like there to be a good variety of not just charts in my boxes because it's fun to get other things too. And so I had these notebooks made with a piece of needlework that I own. I own this antique cross stitch on. It was kind of a cross stitch on canvas of a little girl with her cat, and so it's a little lined notebook that I had those printed for that. Oh yeah, Cross Stitch Antiques did this really pretty one. I love the deer, and she's such a great reproductionist and a very nice lady. And it's really summery. And then Beth Twist also did a pattern that's got a ship on it. A ship for Mary. And Little Annie Lewis is by Lottie Da. And again, we've got a couple of more deer at the bottom. She did a great job reproducing this. This is the reproduction, and this is the original. Isn't it neat? She showed it, she brought it to market. Or no, she brought it to Amana, and the model is really, really cute. It wouldn't take that long to stitch. Nicola Parkman from Hands Across the Sea Samplers gave me a choice of a couple, and it was really hard to decide. There were a couple that I was like, oh, these are kind of neck and neck. And what sealed it for me was this chart by Rachel Shard, stitched in 1900. She was 82 years old and she put it on the sampler. That has got to be the oldest age I've seen on a sampler. The sampler itself isn't huge. It's really pretty with the reds and greens. And it's all over 2, so you could stitch it on Ada. But how cute is that? And I love the clip art. 2 more. So Tracy from Hands to Work did this one with 2 little red houses, which would be a cute gift for a friend. I always kind of like the 2 house samplers. And then the last one was Sarah Barnes by the Scarlet House. This was one of my favorites in the box, honestly. And this is, again, is another little reproduction from an old sampler that she's got. So you get all of that in the box. Like I said, they're still available. And I'm thinking that in sometime this summer, with whatever I have left, I may parcel them out where you can just buy, you know, this, that, or the other. But for now, if you want to make sure that you can get everything in the box, you should grab one before they're all gone. Right, Zero? So I'm trying to think. I think that's it. I'm really looking forward to kind of enjoying part of today. It feels like I worked really hard this week. My employees are just getting ready to graduate and then leave me. So soon it will be just me again. And I don't mind that at all. You know, after all this time working in this industry, I still love packing orders. And I think part of it is, it's just kind of exciting to see what people pick out. You know, sometimes someone will order like 10 quarter yards of fabric. And I can see like, oh, this person really likes, you know, it'll be like purple and orange and green and blue, lots of color. Sometimes it'll be just like all shades of gray. And that also is really pretty. Sometimes someone will order like a whole bag full of silks and I think, oh my gosh, what are they working on? Sometimes I'm like, ooh, they picked good ones. Someone will pick like 10 charts. And it's like, those are the 10 I also would have picked from those designers. And occasionally on an invoice, I'll write nice selections. And that just means like, yep, I'm right there with you. And so it is fun still to see like what people pick out, what they get excited about. I get nice notes from people who say how much they enjoy, you know, being able to find what they've been looking for. And it really is just a great job. I think at some time it might be fun to do a video that's like, what is it like to live in a cross-stitch store? Which is kind of what I do. That room behind me is where most of the magic happens, where the fabric is, the threads, the charts, and, you know, kind of where I assemble orders. And I think people would kind of be jealous, and it's kind of sad. Maybe this is my Sisyphus moment, but it's kind of sad that like I work so hard that I don't often like get to be like, let's just go browse in the cross-stitch store that resides in my house. It's fun. And my husband is patient like a saint, because it's, you know, sometimes it feels like it's kind of taking over. All right. Well, it was good to spend time with you today, and I hope that you're having a great spring so far. I know some of you are still getting snow, and I'm so sorry about that. Come down to Mississippi and we'll go eat outside at Fat Boys Pizza. They have an outdoor area. And what are we going to do today, Zero? He says just this. This would be fine. It's great to see you again. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.